Hello, everybody, and I hope that you had a fantastic match day last night. And it was the final match in number 38 of the Premier League season, and what a season it has been! It has been a season of ups and downs, and to be honest, I think this season is the best season we had since 2015-16. I think arguably this is the best season because the next seasons that followed 2018-19 was good season, but I think it was so high scoring. It wasn't feeling like that it was a Premier League. It was more like a Bundesliga or a La Liga. But it was good. It was good. It went down to the wire. But I think this season is better than what we had last season, because going into this season there were a lot of teams competing for the title. Around 5 to 16 people competing for the title basically. Everton had a very good transfer window, and early shocks also after the match day 9-10. Clubs like Everton, Arsenal, no, not Arsenal, Aston Villa, Leeds were in the top 4 basically, and the big teams crumbled. So there was no clear winner who is going to win, and Liverpool dropped miserably. So I think this season was what a great season it has been. Getting into last night's match, I think it was a good match. Not gonna lie, it was a very good match. And to be honest, I didn't expect anything much other than a loss, because after seeing the lineup, I wasn't convinced that much. I mean, Ole put out the best lineup that he could have put out, but I think that Wolves, I think what would happened, what I had imagined last night was that we would play well, we would play attacking football, but Wolves have more experienced players and good quality players than us, so they will absolutely trample us, just like what happened against Leicester. We played well, but we still lost the match, and that could happen. And if that happened, I think it would have been a sign of worry basically, because if we lost that match, it would have been out of 12 points, would have get only 1 point basically in 4 matches. So we got only 4 points. So I think it's okay. It can be acceptable. It's acceptable, to be honest. And Villarreal is a very good opponent. And Unai Emery, the tactical is very good, and I think I saw them against Real Madrid, and I think they are a very good opposition. I think they will be tough than Sevilla. Not tougher than Sevilla, but they're close to a Sevilla basically. They can give us surprises. So I think our defense has to be pinpoint with that, and this is not a away match or something like that. This is a Europa League final. If we go down 1-0 in the half time or anything like that, we have a possibility that we can lose. And their defense is very solid, not gonna lie. People were slating Pau Torres basically and calling him Lindelof's brother just because they have the similar cheekbones basically. It's not like that. He's a very good defender. I'm not saying he is not a Kunde or a Varane or a Van Dijk or a Ruben. It's not that, but he's better than what we have. Certainly he's not better than Harry Maguire, but he's definitely better than Bai. He's better than Lindelof, and he's better than Tuanzebe, and that's what we need. We need a centre back who is better than what we have basically, and I think we can buy him. And as for Tuanzebe, I think he is the man of the match for me. I think I don't care what anyone says. For me, I would respect anyone's opinion on giving Mata or Diallo or Van de Beek the man of the match award, but for me, he is the man of the match award because he was solid enough to put blocks after blocks after blocks after blocks, and I think he has really grown into that role, and I think he needed some game time more, and if we had given him some more game time, I think he would have impressed us and would have kicked Lindelof out of the team basically, because he is making Lindelof look like an amateur centre back, a junior centre back beside him, though Lindelof is a senior centre back and he has played almost all the matches since Ole has come basically, beside Harry Maguire. So I think Tuanzebe needs to play in the final. No Eric Bailly, no Phil Jones, no Marcos Rojo, no nothing. Lindelof and Tuanzebe. I don't even think Maguire can make it. I'm damn sure he cannot make it, because I think we have seen him. There has been some speculations going around that he can play in the final because he was walking without any protective boot or any crunches basically. He didn't have the scrum wrist around basically, but I think what Ole said was actually right, that the transition from walking to running is a big one, and that can't happen in such a small time. So I think we won't see him, and we won't see him. That's it. There's nothing to more sympathize. Yes, it's a negative thing, but we have to move on. We just can't cry about anything. We're not Liverpool FC. We don't need to cry about such simple things. We don't need to cry about. We have good players. We have to capitalize. And the youngsters. a round of applause for the young. So I think they have really good, they have talent and have a really good future ahead of them if they are utilized properly basically in the team, if they're taken care, if they grow into the role, if they have that kind of professionalism in them, they can be the next Giggs, they can be the next Beckham, they can be the next Scholes. They have, I'm not sure, I'm not telling that they will become the next class of 1992, but they have the potential to become one, because players like Amad Diallo, Elanga, Hannibal Mabry, Shore Tire, Amad Diallo, though Amad Diallo is not an academy graduate, but he has played in the academy, so I'm going to count him as academy. These 5 players, along with Tuan Zebe, I think these 6 players have the capability to become something great. That's the spine of the team in the next 5 to 10 years. Basically, they have the, but it depends upon what manager is going to come or Ole is going to use them in the next upcoming years. That matters basically. And I think it's a fantastic end to the Premier League season. And not gonna lie, I think Manchester City deserves the title. They deserve the title. They were better than anyone. And I think Juan Mata has played his last match for this club, and I think with all due respect, I love him. He's one of my favorite players since the last 5 years, because there hasn't been many good players. I think he's been damn underrated, and he was class at Chelsea. When we bought him, he was a class at Chelsea, along with Oscar and Hazard. They had a very good trio basically, and that trio won them the Europa League in 2013-14 season, I think. Yeah, they won the Europa League. No, not Euro, not 13-14, 12-13 I think it was, 2012-13 season that they won the Europa League. So I think it was class, but I think he has been misused and he hasn't been given that capabilities, and now he's old, he doesn't have the legs. And to be honest, I think the case for players like Matic and Mata is that the mind is willing but the body is not giving basically. And that's he has not got the legs to play this Europa League, and not in the Premier League. I think La Liga and Serie A is what his available options are basically. Mata and Matic, both of them. I think he is a class player, and next to Axel Tuanzebe, he is the next best performer we had last night. He was giving the passes, and he didn't make that much runs, but he was passing the ball really well. The link-up play with Van de Beek was really good, and I think that's what we should have done a lot better, because I think link-up play, if you put, I have seen it in the Newcastle match when we won 4-1, and the match we lost against Istanbul. The link-up play with a cam, we have Bruno in cam, but who plays in the pivot basically, like a player like Van de Beek. The link-up play is very good, to be honest. The link-up play is absolutely fantastic, to be honest, and it is on another level. And this is the reason why I hate Max McFred. Basically, their link-up play is trash. They have no vision. The defensive qualities are hilarious basically, because they can't defend properly, and they both do the same job, but they can't do anything basically. A good sided defensive midfielder will do a better job, though they are plural in number. They are doing it a 2-man shift basically, and that's what shows that their quality is basically, because Andy or a Kante or a Fabinho can do it themselves, or a Declan Rice. But these two combine and they don't even go forward, they just stick behind, but they can't do the job basically. They can't shield the defense, they can't overprotect the defense. And that shows the quality what we have in our current squad. And I think we need to remove this players. And I think the biggest thing with Mata is that Mata is a very good technical player. I think that he's a very good little genius. I think he has that kind of. I think he is proposed to play under the philosophy of tiki taka, total football. So I think he knows that how to find spaces where there is less space, and how to move the ball forward. And I think that could have helped us. But he is now and he has to move on. There's no other thing to going around. And some players, I'm disgusted by this. Some players, people on Twitter and Instagram saying that Van de Beek was class. What did Van de Beek do? I mean, I watched the whole match, but he just made some flicks around. He just made some through balls, and that's it. and people constantly moan about him not playing much in our first team, not getting much game time. How the hell will he get much game time? I couldn't see any difference between McTominay or Fred playing with Van de Beek playing. There was no difference absolutely. You can't be at the Manchester United midfield with just making some flicks around and some through balls and some chips. That won't give you a starter. That won't. This is not a gully football or a freestyle. This is not a freestyle football. This is a Premier League football. You have to do much more than that. And to be honest, the game time which Ole has given him, I think he hasn't proved anything. That's why Ole doesn't play. So I can sympathize with Ole on this. I think he doesn't deserve any game time, to be honest. Yeah, he deserves some game time, but he is not proving that he should get some game time. That hunger, that yes, I am worthy enough to get some game time. He hasn't done anything much. I think he hasn't done anything much, and you can say that it's lack of game time is impacting his playing style and there's rustiness going around. You can say that, but he hasn't proven anything. He hasn't proven shit basically. So I think he is not that good. And Alex Telles is class on attacking side, but he is really disaster in the defensive side because he got ran past by what this player's name is, Adama Traore. He ran past Adama Traore a few times basically. Adama Traore just bodied him by his physicality. So I think that's a big thing to worry. I think Axel Telles is not that good, to be honest. Yeah, he's good attackingly, but he's not good defensively. And I have to say, Tuanzebe has booked a place in the final. He has to play in the final. But I don't care who are they are going to play, but he has to play. Because he has been the best player since we are playing our rotation squad. Because since the last 3 or 4 matches, I've seen him play well. And Maguire won't play, so I think we need a defender who is good in air. And Beric Bailly is half injured. I'm not trusting him with anything basically, but I think we should play Tuanzebe. I think that is a good option. And I think we need to give some time to the young, so in the Carabao Cup or the late or the first starting FA Cups rounds, basically round 3, round 4, round 5. We need to give them the time basically. They need to grow and and I think some of them need to go on loan also because they won't get the time. Other than Amad Diallo and Anthony Elanga, I don't see anyone getting that time basically. I think people like Shore Tire, Hannibal Mabry, Hugo, McNeil, these people need to go on loan. That's not because they don't have that kind of talent, but they don't have the kind of experience, so they need to gain some experience. And nothing will happen, nothing good will happen to them sitting in the bench and just training with the first team. That won't happen. And we have seen it with Brandon Williams. That lad got a crucial 1 year of his career got wasted, and that's when the development starts basically. And you won't have a development after 23 or 24. That's when you have the development. So I think he wasted. So I think they need to go on. And I have seen the trophy celebrations of Manchester City, and I have to say this that I started watching Manchester United from fully basically. I have started watching Manchester City from a long time, but properly season to season I have started watching in the 2012-2013 season when we last won a title basically. And after that City won the title, Chelsea won the title, Leicester won the title, and again Chelsea won the title. And in those 4 years, when I saw the trophy celebrations, trophy presentations, and they were lifting the Premier League trophy, I was kind of a bit angry about, they are lifting our trophy, we have to win next year. I was pumped up, yes, this next season will be our season. And those 4 years, I was feeling that kind of adrenaline in me. But I don't feel it anymore. I don't feel nothing. I just like the celebrations. I just smile a lot. That's it. That's done. And actually this is a big problem which we have since 2017-18. I haven't got that same feeling which I had in the previous 4 seasons. I haven't got. I think I have lost kind of faith and hope which I had when I started watching or supporting Manchester United, and I kind of lost. I mean, the passion is there. I'm not saying that the passion is all, but I kind of have lost that faith in the. What I say is, it's kind of that trust that we can bounce back next season. I don't have it under the current regime. I don't have it, to be honest. And it's about and Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham for this. Many people, you guys probably know about this. And there has been a certain rumors going on that Rashford has said a similar thing like this. And we have heard this before with Bruno. Bruno is saying that I won't sign a contract before Pogba signs a contract, and we can, without building a competitive team, I won't stay here for long. This is a problem which are going around. Without building a competitive team within the next 2 years, I don't see any of our good players retaining in our team. And why should they? And I can absolutely support them for this. Basically, why should they? And even the ex-players have said this. Van Persie has said this, Valencia has said this, Ander Herrera has said this, Ashley Young has said this, Smalling has said this, Fellaini has said this, and a lot of ex-players have said this, that when Manchester United brings a player, or basically a player comes to the ranks from the academy, they sell the plan of 3 years to those players, that in 3 years we will be competing for the Champions League and we will win the Premier League, and those 3 years never comes. Basically, those 3 years never comes. I've seen it years and years, and when you do, it's already been 9 years without title. Next season it will be 10 years without title, basically. And 3 square is equal to 9, basically. 3 into 3 is equal to 9. And it's a double, basically, what was proposed to. We were sold a 3-year plan when Moyes was under the helm and he got sacked 8 months later. We were sold a 3 years plan under Van Gaal, and he won the FA Cup title, and then he was sacked after 2 years of regime. We were sold a 3-year plan under Mourinho, and he got sacked in mid of his contract. So the Glazers don't live up to the expectations of what they promise us to be. This is the problem which I have, and I can see it. If Ole gets the sack next season, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by the pattern of going around. The last 7-8 years since Fergie has retired, the same pattern is going around, and this can happen with anyone. And those prats at ESPN are saying, "Oh, Manchester United should have brought Mauricio Pochettino, and he would have been a good serial winner at Manchester United." That guy bottled the League One. He couldn't win the League One with Paris Saint-Germain. And how am I supposed to believe that he is the right man to take Manchester United forward? And no disrespect to Mauricio Pochettino. He's a good manager, but he's not someone we need. We need serial winners. And what's the difference between Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Mauricio Pochettino? Yeah, he developed play, but so is Solskjaer doing. So what's the difference? Bringing a coach like that. We need to bring some serial winners. I think my 2 short list of managers was Julian Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann has done a very good job at Leipzig, and I think we should have brought him, but I think he's going at Bayern Munich, and it is confirmed. And Zidane, I think he will leave Real Madrid. So if Ole gets the sack, I think we should bring Zidane. I think he has the winning mentality, and his style of football will suit our United DNA. I'm not saying that sack Ole, but if things doesn't work out, you need to sack him. The inevitable has to happen, basically. So this is going around, and the thing which infuriates me the most is that behind all those Etihad, there are some banners, like we have all of that football is nothing without fans, and all that, basically Sir Alex Ferguson stand, all that. They had banners like, "This is our city, this city belongs to us." I've seen those banners like that, and it's been official banners. This is nothing like hooligans. The club has given the permission to put those banners, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, they have got they won the bragging rights. This is now their city. Manchester is blue. Historically, it's not Manchester is blue, but now, taking into record the next 8 years, the past 8 or 7, 9 years, Manchester is blue. And I can guarantee you that when if Sir Alex Ferguson was at the dugout, he would never had it happen. He would never ever would have let this happen. This would never happen under Sir Alex Ferguson. He would never allow such a dominance of another club, and especially when they are our neighbours. Especially then, if this was Chelsea or Arsenal, this wouldn't have much mattered. Yeah, we lose our titles, okay, but this is our neighbours, man. This is our neighbours. We are now becoming a second fiddle in our own city, and this is what angers me the most, basically. But that kind of competence is not at the club anymore. So what more can we do? Basically? And Alex Ferguson has said it himself in his farewell speech that I prefer watching them from afar rather than suffering with them. That means that how much of a big winner he was. How much of a big winner he was. And I don't think that we will win the title next season, irrespective of what players we bring, because I don't think that I have lost that faith. I have lost that hope basically. I don't have any optimism going into the next season. Yeah, I still think that Ole is the man to take forward, but I kind of feel, I think this is just a hunch basically going on, that I kind of feel that the same thing which happened with Mourinho. He needed backing, he didn't get backing. I think that's the same thing is going to happen. I think the same thing is going to. We will bring a Sancho and a Tom Heaton and a right backup player. That's it. That's it. Done. All our money spent. I think that's going to happen, and that actually fears me to death. Basically, that actually fears me to death. So I don't want that to happen. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I think Manchester City deserve the title more than I think they can win the title next season also, because the team of what they have, and many people I did a video last week or something around. So many people on Harry Kane basically. Many people are saying on my DM that, oh, you don't know nothing. You if City get Harry Kane, what we will do? We can't win the title. Then it would be better to hand the title to City rather than playing the whole season and ending with disappointment. I'm just waiting for their questions to end basically. They have put a lot of DMs, but I have to say this one answer basically, that you cannot stop a rival by just stealing one of the transfer targets. We did it with Lukaku, we did it with Sanchez, we did it with Fred, we did it with Maguire, and we are no closer to winning a title. When they have the ambition, they will bring any other players. If they don't get Harry Kane, they will go for Haaland. If they don't get Haaland, they will go for Messi. If they don't get Messi, they will go for Lukaku. If they don't get Lukaku, they will go for Lautaro Martinez. If you can't get Lautaro Martinez, they will go for Ings. So you can't stop a rival when they are so much competitive and have some ambition to be the best team around. You can't stop them. That's not going to happen. So if we need to stop Man City, we need to build a team. We need to buy a centre defense midfielder. We need to buy a right back. We need to buy a centre back. And that's it. That's how we can stop Manchester City. That's it. So thanks for watching. Please smash that like video if you did enjoy this video. And I think let's hope that we can win the Europa League final in Gdansk basically. And I think that will be a wonderful ending to our season basically. And if we win the Europa League, this will be the best season we have had since Fergie retired. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Maybe on another video. I think I will definitely do a preview on the Europa League final. So I'll catch you next time. Stay safe and stay healthy and stay at home. Basically, that's what I want to say. That's the best thing to do at these tough times going around. So please take care of yourself and don't stop watching football, because football is all of passion basically. So please share this video. That would help us, and this would help our community grow a lot. So I'll catch you next time.